Hi, my name's Rod McIver. I wanted to welcome you to Heron Dance and the online publication Journal Meditations of a Working Artist. I wanted to introduce you to the work and tell you a little about the plan for the next year or so. First of all, Heron Dance has always been an experimental publication. I started it 30 years ago. Originally, it was just a black and white newsletter of interviews of people who devoted their life to some concept of a greater good. So they worked in refugee camps, they worked to protect wilderness, they worked with the addicted in the inner city, homeless shelters, and actually the first interview in the first profile in the first issue of Heron Dance in 1995 was of Frederick Back, who had received an Oscar for the animated film The Man Who Planted Trees, a beautiful story of a shepherd who lives in remote mountains in France um, and basically devotes his life to his concept of beauty. And Frederick, the creator of the film, became a close friend and supporter of Heron Dance and a guide on this journey as I tried to take the newsletter from 0 subscribers to a real publication. Ultimately, it did have 50,000 subscribers. Um, it's gone through a series of evolutions, and a period of time was devoted rather to gratitude as a philosophy of life and as a spiritual practice. A period of Heron Dance was creativity as a way of life. A period was the beauty and mystery of wild nature. And now, as a journal of an artist working alone, it is about two subjects. One, the creation of abstract art, and the other, abstract art that embodies a sense of peace. And my life these days is a nurturing of inner peace and of the different approaches and tools, including meditation, journaling, long walks on the ocean here in South Carolina, and in the woods in the summer in Vermont and Algonquin Park in Canada. Um, and I invite you along on this journey as I attempt to make the transition from realistic and impressionistic painting to abstract. And I have done about somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 paintings over the last 30 years, probably closer to 3,000, and have sold many, many thousands of prints and done 14 books. And we used to sell 150,000 note cards a year. So I'm now going off into into an art form that I have no customer base for, or a tiny customer base for, and it's exciting and challenging. And thank you for joining me on the journey. I think it was Bob Dylan who said that an artist always has to be in the state of becoming, and we have to be always just reaching beyond our comfort zone, always doing work that we're not quite sure if we're going to be able to pull it off, right on the edge of our skill set, right on the edge of our imagination. And if we're just doing work that because we know it'll sell, because it sold yesterday, because it sold a year ago, because it sold 20 years ago, we're not really an artist anymore. Now when we start to do that, we're just going through the motions of being an artist. An artist is someone who is creating something new and something from imagination. And for me, abstract art is that, especially trying to create art that embodies a sense of peace and inner peace, and that contributes peace to the homes of the people where it ultimately ends up. And so most of my work these days I throw out, and I paint every day. And am gradually getting to where I want to be. And it was like that in the first year I started 30 years ago. Uh, I painted day and night. Uh, it took me a year before I created anything of any commercial value. And ultimately, Heron Dance came to be, at least in terms of financially, more about the art than the writing, because we sold note cards and books and prints and originals, and that kept the payroll paid and the suppliers paid. And anyway, thank you for your interest in the work. It's published 2 to 4 times a week, and for free subscribers on Substack, get it twice a month. But to receive it more often, just go to the Heron Dance website and make a discretionary contribution. It could be $5 or $10 a month, or I think the most anyone contributes is $200 a month. But contribute whatever you can easily afford and what reflects the value you get from the work. And thank you for joining me on the journey and for being a part of Heron Dance. I'll close with 10 or so paintings that I've done, starting with one 30 years ago and ending with one a couple of days ago. And just to give you an idea of my own artistic journey. And thank you again for your interest.